Hi everyone, welcome back to my brand new channel, Kat's Book Corner. And I wanted to start to talk about the books I read in October and the first week of November. Okay, a few little things before we get started. The audio or the video might not be great because it's my first time, but I will get better. And two, all of my books are very thoroughly tabbed. That a lot of people say is too much, but there are reasons. Each of the colors means something different to me, and I'm one of the people who buys books and then forgets they're part of a series. So by the time I remember to buy the second one, I've pretty much forgotten what happened in the first one. So I put the tabs there in order to remember the book that I can go back to without having to fully reread it before the second one. Alright, let's get started. This one is Gideon the Ninth by Tasmin Moller. This one was I think a 3.5 star. I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it. It was a little boring to me in the middle, but I loved the ending and the beginning. And it made me curious enough to get the second one, so I will continue the series, but just my thoughts on that one. Next one is the first book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one was a 4.5. I actually really liked this one. I actually read it twice this month because I wanted to see if you could go back and find certain things you missed the first time around. And it made me want to buy the second one, so I have the entire series not with me because I'm up at school and, well, not back at home yet, which I will be in 2 weeks, so maybe I'll get it then. But I really did like it. It was, I think, one of my top reads this year. Okay, number 3 was An Ember in the Ashes. I really loved this one. It was a 4.75 star, and it's told from Lila and Elias, their point of views, and I really liked it. The only reason it wasn't a 5 star is because, well, I expected a little bit more, but it's also the first book in a series, so it might be 5 stars by the time I finish the series. Okay, the next book I read is Spider-Man: The Darkest Hours, but it's also Down These Mean Streets and Drowned in Thunder. It is 3 separate stories in this one, each about 200 pages. The first one is about some ancient evils that come after Spider-Man, and he has to rely on people who are unexpected to help him out, including the Black Cat, who is one of my favorite characters. This was 5 star because Spider-Man always holds a very close place to my heart. I love Spider-Man. I've loved it ever since I was a kid. The second one is Down These Mean Streets, where he has to team up with the police department to stop the manufacturing of this new drug that's making it onto the streets. It gives people superheroes, but also has very unwanted side effects. And the last one is Drowned in Thunder, and it's about like the relationship between JJJ, or J. Jonah Jameson, and Spider-Man, like their relationship. And there's a lot of inside jokes that are from the comics or like the TV shows that are animated from the 80s and the 90s, which it always made me laugh because there's one that's Jigsaw Jameson, which I find very funny because it was just something that I laughed about as a kid. Okay, this was my only reread of the month because my little sister picked my TBR this year. Well, for these few months. and she picked Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And, well, this isn't my favorite Harry Potter book. It is a solid 4. And there are so many things when you go back and reread it that you now can catch, which I found very interesting because normally I don't really catch them that often. Because when I really read fast, so sometimes I skip over things, but with the tabs now I don't really miss anything. Okay, so now I'm going to go a little bit more in detail about each of the books. Let's start with Gideon. This is basically like lesbians in space who have to like do this little trial, and Gideon is working with someone he kind of hates, who basically like owns him. It's not like a slave thing, but it's like really interesting. He's working with Harrow of the 9th house, and she's trying to become one of the most powerful people in like their galaxy. And they like learn a bit about each other and they get a little closer. And I'm not going to spoil the ending because I really did like the ending, so I think if you are interested, you should try and read it for yourself. Moving on to The Naturals. This follows Cassie, who gets an invite by the FBI to work with them to solve cold cases. And there's like a group of kids and they all live in this house. So basically Criminal Minds, but like YA. And it's about kids who have these like kind of abilities. 2 of them are profilers, Dean and Cassie. Then there's Michael, who is my personal favorite character, who is able to like read emotions off of people. Then there's Lila, who can tell when people are lying and can lie pretty well herself. Sloane, who's good at statistics and that type of thing. But they have to try like and solve like cases, but then like they get involved in something recent that's happening. And this one, An Ember in the Ashes, it follows 2 POVs, Lila and Elias. And Lila is a slave who has to work in a place by the resistance who are trying to break free in order to save her brother who was put in prison. And Elias is a soldier who is working, but is working like with the very high elite who are keeping the people like Lila slaves. And he, surprisingly, is one of the only people who doesn't want to be there. Like, he doesn't want to work to hurt people. He wants to just like go back to the place he was taken from as a kid. And they eventually meet, but like it's basically told like from around them, if you get what I mean. Like, they meet in the middle, but you each get like their outside stories and the stories after they meet, so it's not all about them together. Then the Spider-Man book, which I already talked a little bit about, where he has to, first one is helping, but he has the help of some unlikely people and Black Cat in order to stop some ancient evils who want revenge for something. Then the second one, which is Down These Mean Streets, which is teaming up with the police department to stop the drug that is running rampant down the streets. And the police department does have parts where they do hate him, so he's trying to work against the hate that they have of him, and they're wanting for him to help him. And then Drowned in Thunder is the vendetta against JJJ and Spider-Man. But you also do, in all 3 of the stories, get like Peter's home life with, well, in these books he's married to MJ in all of them, so you do get to see like his life with his wife and like their relationship. You also see relationships that he had when he was doing his job, not as the reporter, but like he was a science teacher at Midtown, so you got to see that. So I really liked that you got outside perspectives in that. And this one, Half-Blood Prince, which a lot of people already know, Harry is getting help from Dumbledore to figure out how to beat Voldemort, and This one is he gets help from a mysterious book called The Half-Blood Prince, and he's working with Ron and Hermione to just school, Quidditch, that type of thing. It's not the most story Harry Potter book, but there is a lot of like information that is useful about the end of it and what you find out and are able to piece together. It's also a little bit, I think this is the most romance heavy of all the Harry Potter books, because this is the book where he does end up getting with Ginny, and you can see with Ron's relationship with Lavender's about and that type of thing. So it's the most romance heavy of the Harry Potter books, in my opinion. So those were all the books that I read this month, and well, last month and the first week of this month. And I can go into more detail, give a spoiler video maybe next week, and then when I'm back home for the holiday, I will show you my December TBR that my little sister will probably pick again, and we'll go from there, see what else happens. Hope you all liked it, and if you did, please comment, like, and subscribe. Bye!